All right, it's Can't Let It Go. That little bit of cricket news you just can't let go through to Alex Carey behind the stumps. Jaleesa, what's your Can't Let It Go?
Well, I don't know if it's a strictly can't let it go, but it's just a general feeling that I have.
Ooh, like this.
It's on our mate Steve O'Keefe, which you and I are a big fan of. I want Sock at the next opportunity to go in the IPL and finally make money in it, because last time he was there, he made no money.
Yeah, I think he's been on this podcast talking about it as well.
Yeah, I think he has. So if you go and listen very long ago to this podcast,
Like last year.
the story is that he was it last year?
I think he was on last year. He was in Studio 3.
Yeah, I don't think he told it then, did he?
Well, I've heard it so many times. But basically he goes... Sorry, it's your story.
Well, he went over and he was only paid like something like $12,000 or something, and he ran up the service on his room service beyond his wage.
Yeah, I think he was like paid 20, signed for 20, then the club folded, so they only had to pay him like 60% of it.
Yeah.
And then it ended up he lost money. I've actually asked Sock about like why he doesn't go for more overseas leagues.
I actually think he could make a decent amount of money next time.
Yeah, but he says like they don't want him. Like there's a lot of spinners he can't field, he can't bat. You know, like he's not in demand. Even though he's such a good bowler, his skill set can be probably used from local players. All right, what's your Can't Let It Go, Lockie?
Kind of touched on it a bit earlier, but the fact that we've got BBL finals when everyone's back at school, kids are back at school, I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me. The fact that we've crescendoed to the competition now at the biggest point, everything's dropped off. Like Sean Abbott was saying today at his press conference, maybe we should let kids have Friday off so that Thursday they could actually come to the game and not worry about the game finishing at 11 p.m. or later if there's a super over. Like those are the sort of things that they have to consider now. So yeah, it's frustrating that the Sixers, who are coming off an incredible crowd against the Sydney Thunder at the SCG, they'll probably be lucky to get about 15,000 there.
And as well, what annoys me is, so the first ball is due at around 7:15, which means it'll finish at 10:30. So if you've got young kids, that's too late to go to bed on a school night. I would go, well, first ball should be 6:30 after the news, and at least the kids can watch most of the game at home.
And then there's that trade-off of, will people get home from work in time for the start of the game? Yeah, it's all solved if you do it during school holidays and get it over.
So again, Jaleesa's wrong. All right, my Can't Let It Go is... so Nat and Catherine Sciver-Brunt, so Nat Sciver and Catherine Brunt, two England international cricketers, are married and now will be wearing their married name on their shirt. So it'll be, there'll be two Sciver-Brunts on the cricket field. And I think that's great. I think that, it's not often talked about how many married couples there are in teams, but I think it's beautiful that they're embraced, like they're wearing the same name. And I love it.
They'll have to be more specific when they go bowler's name.
Yeah.
Yes.
N Sciver-Brunt or
That's it.
K Sciver-Brunt.
What about Tom Rogers and Tom Rogers in the Big Bash?
Yeah,
when
that is
when
so
one got the other out, beautiful.
It's very hard when I know you hate Supercoach, and I think it's a News Corp thing that you're.
I worked for News Corp. I really liked them.
Why, yeah.
I liked them. No, it's a shit competition, Supercoach. It is. Sorry, but you cannot sugarcoat
Anyway,
it.
when you see
So you're being paid to
Tom
play.
Rogers, you
Sorry.
can it gets confusing.
Yes, and if I was paid to play Supercoach, I'd say it was great too.
Okay.
Finally, just on that point, I
Of course
wonder
you would.
what year it will be when there's like two male cricketers that are married having the same name. Say if Zampa and Stoinis consummated their relationship, it would be like Mr. and Mr. Zampa. What year do you think that'll be in?
Oh, well, it's a lot of factors.
Will it be
Yeah,
before
I'm not gonna put a-
2030?
I'm not
Before
gonna-
2030?
I wouldn't
this is
dare
a
put
really
a ceiling on
weird
it.
prediction.
Why?
Well, I
I'm
mean,
just
there's
curious.
so many
Like
factors.
it's happened in the women's game.
There's so many factors that you have to have.
Just give me a number.
two very
Before
good
or after
cricketers.
2030? Yeah.
What? After
Will it
2030,
happen before
I
or
guess?
after 2030?
Maybe after 2030.
Okay.
Like you have to have the chances of having two top level cricketers that are in a relationship is very that's a lot. That's a
It happens a lot in the women's game. Maybe it's happening more in the men's game. It's not being talked about.
maybe okay.
You sound like you know a lot more. So what's
I'm
your
not.
number?
I'm just-
What's your number?
I'm just
What is
asking.
this
I think.
random-
I think it will happen. I think a lot needs to happen, so I think it'll be after 2030.
Let's go with that then.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, what a way to end the podcast.
God, real.
It's actually grounded to a. It's actually perfect. I've grounded the conversation
Real
to a halt.
crescendo there.
No, yeah, like you just.
It's like the
staring at-
BBL. We got a high, and then we thought let's just test a little bit more. We went it
Yeah.
over the school
Yeah,
holidays, and
yeah,
now
yeah.
we're
I
here.
think it's a legitimate
Yeah.
question.